For those who are unfamiliar, I nudged my truck into his driveway, the Kearns farmhouse down there on the left, the dilapidated barns bashfully hiding behind it. No suspicious cars in the driveway or yard, I'm delighted to see, or not see. Flattened grass, but it's subtle. He won't notice that. I pull into the grass and park a good distance from the house. He doesn't even ask why I don't pull in further. Instead, he pleads his case for easier treasure hunt clues. The laminated map of DeKalb cornfield sits between us on the front seat. He quit the treasure hunt earlier this morning, but I know he's coming back to it. I should stash this in my back pocket when he's distracted. We may need this later. As he argues, I allow my gaze to cross behind him, and I frown, staring hard. After a minute, he recognizes I'm not listening to him, and turns to peer over his right shoulder, his gaze chasing mine. Staring at the dead tree right off the cornfield where I emerged last night, I ask, "Are those wasps?" He stares for a moment, uncertain. "What the fuck?" He wedges open the passenger door handle. By the time he slams the truck's door shut, he's already striding hard down the driveway, and I race to catch his lead. I need to be at his side when he discovers the truth. My God, it's beautiful. The fluttering, bulky clouds of insects buzzing the dead tree are too large to be wasps. That's evident immediately. Kearns walks hard towards them without knowing anything more. Oh God, I love this moment. Those two pugilists stand eye to eye, poised to strike across an invisible but critical line. His head snaps towards the house, then the barn, scanning everything in view. Where's his mom? His dad? How are they not out here? We arrive. He stops abruptly to gape, slack-jawed. I grin madly at the perfect outdoor colors. The sky paints thick blue everywhere. The corn glows a primal green, and the fat August sun polishes everything with a cheerful, vibrant shine. In the foreground, our new friends' orange and black wings fold incessantly upon themselves. Orange and black, orange and black, orange and black. Monarchs, Mai says, his voice wavered. Holy shit, these hundreds. He turns to me and tears pour from him instantly, brain sensor still jogging to catch up with his astonished delight. Thousands, he says. I think there must be... The words vanish out of him like ghosts. I gaze into the intangible orange and black webbing above us. They are so beautiful. I say, not thousands. Later I will share my estimates, but to his credit, it's awfully hard to guess real numbers with the immense orange and black flittering and fluttering, maybe 400 or more. This massive cloud creates an autumnal foliage in an otherwise barren tree. Mai stops his unconscious spinning while staring straight up. He levels his head at me, and now that gravity applies again, more tears leak down his face. He says, I don't understand. Wait, I say, gasping. Is this a butterfly tree? How? He says the word almost painfully, like the mere idea of asking questions is physical and arduous. Without words, I point to one of the 36 watermelon wedges hanging from the tree, the best bribe to keep butterflies close until late morning sunlight seduces them away. Within the next 2 hours, the numbers will have, then have again. But it's early enough and they're not quite ready to explore the big world. Mom, he says with dazed confusion, looking towards the house. Where is she? How can she not? He crouches to study a few trunk-loving butterflies who choose to ride the bark. Standing a moment or two later, he reaches into a lower-hanging branch to mildly push the nearest watermelon with his index finger, creating an amusement park ride for dozens of dizzy breakfast eaters. He stares at the tree with intense concentration for a full minute. Without looking at me, he said, "You did this." I wait until he turns to me before I shrug. You and I spent every minute together since last night at 6 p.m. But if I were to guess, I'd say this looks suspiciously like the work of the butterfly kid. He ignores me, walking around the tree, staring up into the dead branches, taking steps back to peer higher. I don't understand. I have to get my mom. She loves monarchs. I mean, really loves them. I know. You told me. The words have the effect that I had hoped. Mai turns to face me, noticing me as part of the landscape at last. I say, when you were a kid, you and she agreed to help butterfly migration researchers at Northern Illinois University nearby. For 3 summers, you two logged how many butterflies you witnessed every day. But she wouldn't let you tag them as the researchers requested. She couldn't stand the notion of humans tagging a creature so beautiful and full of grace. Mai didn't flinch. I told you that. I told you how I spent my summers as a kid. He wipes his arm across his face. Son of a bitch. Oddly, there's no anger to this, no real recrimination. Mai reaches into a nearby rind and rubs his finger against the fruit, smearing it. He digs a nail into the red flesh until a gooey trail slicks his finger to the knuckle, allowing him to entice 2 butterflies onto his finger. He says, I have to get my mom. Pleading, he says. He said, wait, aren't you curious about the Butterfly King? Through tears, he shoots me an exasperated look, the why are you fucking with me expression. But it's replaced almost immediately with resignation. He looks down and touches a slowly folding, black outlined wing, the very definition of vulnerability married to intricacy. I have to get my folks, Ben. He says this without looking up. Please. Please. The butterflies will stick around for another hour or 2. There's time. I'm tempted to explain that his parents have already seen this, but he'll know that soon enough. With his back to the house, I motion to the people inside. Come out. Come out and meet your king. Keeping him focused on me, I say, the Butterfly King lives in New York City and teaches diversity classes for Fortune 100 corporations. At home back in Harlem, he patrols the night with a wooden baseball bat, protecting those who cannot defend themselves. When he protects what he loves, the Butterfly King is fierce and furious. Even in his righteous anger, he carries the grace of these gentle creatures. On patrol, he travels with other men who follow butterfly wisdom. They keep each other safe. Kearns, he knows how tough it is to lead an army. Mai flinches at this last line, remembering how I had promised him leadership of a curious army. He can't stop his eyes from chasing the dazzling air show around us. The Halloween-themed flags twitter everywhere, graceful, jerky movements as they bring a dead thing back to life. One lands on my shoulder. Welcome, little king. I even love the word butterfly. It possesses such a meandering quality like the creature it describes. Butterfly, butterfly. On his finger, one glides away, but a new one settles in, a twin to the one who left. Everyone is now out in the yard. With his hand free, Mai wipes his eyes. We were together all night. I woke up first. How did you do this? I remained quiet. He said, did you do this, the Butterfly King? Who's helping you? I scrutinized the landscape, craning my neck to see the cornfields in the house. I don't see any Butterfly King. This looks like his works, but maybe it's not. Best not to get too attached to the outcome. Best to stay curious. You just said it was him. I said it might be him. May not have been him personally, but his followers. Before Mai can speak, I spin him hard to face the opposite direction. Or maybe them. Mai wobbles from my spinning and peers across the yard. I hear his audible gasp as he takes in the crowd, sees them, jumping back into me, falling into my arms. I stand him up, keeping my hands on his upper back to steady him. 30-odd people stand in his backyard, clumped together in groups of 3 or 4, or spread out with their hands on their hips. I can't see their individual expressions from this distance, but I would guess they are smiling, grinning. I wonder if he recognizes any of them.